This piece, imagine that, is one I sometimes forget about, have forgotten about for years at a time. And every once in a while it pops into my head, and it's like, oh man, I love that song. I still do. So my love is back. And I wrote it in September of 2002. Kind of, the phrase comes from something my wife's grandfather, Big Papa George, would say when somebody would say, hey, we have this microwave oven that can cook a potato in 2 or 3 minutes. And he would say something like, how about that? Or imagine that. And as I was just messing around one day. At this point in his life, he was kind of on the way out, and he was in the hospital, and I was thinking about him a lot, and hung on for another couple months. Anyway, but this little vamp has just such a nice laid back groove, and then opens up. Here we have 4 syllables. Kind of inspired the title, and that's sort of where it all came from. Yeah, it's a very lyrical song as far as in my opinion. There are a lot of parts that are just ripe for lyrics, and I have words that run through my head in spots of this, but I also like it as a standalone instrumental. What we're going to do, well, first of all, it's in drop D tuning. So I've got a low D here in the bass, D, A, D, G, B, E, the normal, standard drop D tuning. And the opening chord starts off, it's an A in the bass, and we have kind of notes that are out of an A6 chord. So it gives it a little jazzy sound right there. And then, so I'm at the 6th and 7th frets. I've got a C sharp, an A, and an F sharp. And then they both drop down a half step, which gives us a G, a B, and an E. That gives us the sound of an even bigger chord than a 6th chord, because we're not even hearing the F sharp anymore. Now what we're hearing is G, the 9th, B, the 11th, B the 9th, G the 7th, sorry, and E, that would be the normal 5th in the chord. So we're kind of just going back and forth between the sound of an A6 and an A9. But then we have this little rolling thing in the bass. So in the first part of this lesson, and then it goes through, nice little melodic chords and a couple of different sections. So in this lesson, we're going to go through the whole thing, but you might want to take it in small doses. So in the first part, we'll talk about the vamp, but you can even start working on that right now. Try those notes right there at the 5th and 6th, or the 6th and 7th frets, and work on sliding them back, because that descending slide is kind of difficult. That's really all that happens there. And then a little 4-note phrase, hammering on from E to G and B to D. Oh, except the D is played open. Forgot about that. So anyway, we'll break into that a lot more in the next segment and kind of work our way through Imagine That.